Oh man, the new Ready Player One trailer is out and I am very excited. If you've ever read the book, it's basically page after page of Easter eggs, so there's a lot to unpack in this trailer. Alright, let's start with the race, but before we get into the individual cars, I think it's interesting that the banners above say win the copper key. In the book, the keys are won through a series of puzzles, but now it looks like they're going to be won through a series of physical challenges, which is more dynamic and would play better on film. In the race, we can see Mad Max's V8 Interceptor, Mach 5 from Speed Racer, the Adam West Batmobile, which I touched once at a Ripley's Believe It or Not in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Here's the A-Team van, what I think is Christine from the Stephen King novel, and of course Wade's DeLorean from Back to the Future. And I'm really glad the DeLorean's included, because most of the trailer is filled with video game characters and the intellectual properties of Warner Brothers. Universal made Back to the Future with Steven Spielberg producing, so it looks like he pulled some strings with that studio. But here's hoping they're saving the Millennium Falcon and Star Wars characters for the actual film. After all, they showed up in the Lego Movie, which is also made by Warner Brothers. So in the race, they're racing against mostly people from the IOI, that's the Innovative Online Industries. They're like the FCC of the future because they're trying to monopolize the internet and make everybody pay higher prices. Instead of Out of Time, Wade's DeLorean has the personalized license plate of his screen name, Parzival. This is a spin on Percival, the knight who found the Holy Grail. He's also wearing a Thundercats belt buckle, which is awesome, and later you see the front of the DeLorean has a customized grille of Kit's lights from Knight Rider. Also in the race, we see Rue from Street Fighter, one of many Street Fighter characters to show up in this trailer. Then we go into the club, where we see Deathstroke leaving with Harley Quinn. And maybe there's some side relationship drama here, because later in the trailer we see Harley talking to her puddin', the Joker. So maybe they had a fight and Harley's like, F this, I'm gonna leave with Deathstroke. And they're both wearing their Arkham Asylum costume. Up in the air, you can see Gandalf having a great time twirling above everyone. Here's our first look at Artemis showing off her gown to Wade. A member of the band Devo is bartending, and we also see Blanca, Lara Croft, and Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. Does anyone know what this yellow thing is? If you do, please let me know in the comments. We get our first look at James Halliday, and he's wearing a button of the game Simon. This is appropriate because of his obsession with games and all things 80s. Also, if you ever played it, Simon is just as impossible as finding Halliday's Easter eggs. Here we see a chamber with a golden Easter egg sitting on top of a pedestal. The dragons on the pedestal resemble the Mortal Kombat symbol, or maybe it's an homage to the classic video game Double Dragon. The inscription above reads, 3 hidden keys open 3 secret gates, wherein the errant will be tested for worthy traits, and those with the skill to survive these straits will reach the end where the prize awaits. And this is the riddle Halliday gave everyone to help find his Easter eggs. And here's Artemis's motorcycle, otherwise known as the bike from Akira. There are a ton of cute Easter egg stickers on this bike. We see Wonder Woman, Miss Pac-Man, Sega, and the Greatest American Hero.
Look at what's happened to me.
This is most likely Wade's best friend Ack driving the Bigfoot monster truck. No word yet if the other muscle machines will appear in this movie. The sign in the background reads Delta City, a nod to RoboCop. This is Anorak, Halliday's avatar, granting Percival the copper key. It's interesting here that Artemis tells Wade welcome to the rebellion. Maybe the characters in the movie are more focused on an underground rebellion against IOI instead of independently looking for the keys. This chamber is most likely the prison where IOI keeps their slaves. And here's King Kong set to Van Halen's Jump. It's a little too on the nose, but I still got goosebumps. And the battle charge. This is likely the epic battle for the final egg outside Anorak's palace. So many fictional characters from across all genres in one spot. It reminds me of the Imagination Land episodes in South Park. We see Battletoads and Ninja Turtles, a cave troll maybe, Ripley's mech suit from Aliens, this is El Dragon from Battleborn, and this guy from Joust. And later we see Lara Croft again, Fem Shep from Mass Effect, and Casey Cage from Mortal Kombat, Tracer from Overwatch, and Chun-Li from Street Fighter. And there are a lot of skeleton warriors from Jason and the Argonauts. Now let's look at this robot flipping Wade the coin. There's a part in the book where Wade gets an extra life coin by completing a perfect game of Pac-Man. I'm wondering if this scene replaces that. If so, maybe this guy is Halliday's former best friend, Ogden Morrow. Later he's seen with Wade, Artemis, Ack, and this samurai who's probably their friend Shoto from the book. Wade leads the final charge by holding up a boombox like John Cusack in Say Anything. Here we see Sagat from Street Fighter and Deadshot from DC Comics. We don't see any other major DC players, but I hope a CGI Henry Cavill shows up so his upper lip will finally look normal.
We have shots fired!
Shots fired.
Finally, we see a mobile Gundam suit, and my favorite surprise from the trailer, Chucky from Child's Play leaping onto people like the Rabbit and Holy Grail. We saw Freddy Krueger in the previous trailer, but this really steps it up. And how could I forget the Iron Giant? And at the very end, the chimes from the Back to the Future score. This movie's probably the closest we'll get to a Back to the Future 4, so I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. Did you see any Easter eggs that we missed? Probably, there were a ton. If so, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and for Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.